Uh, I am extremely excited. And first of all, I would love to welcome each and every one of you, whoever is present here, to this very beautiful session that is going to start right away. And before that, I would love all of you to put down your comments in the chat box, that you can see me, that you can hear me. And please, if you could write a yes in the comment box, and then we can get the session started. Please type yes in the chat box, and I would start the event right away. Please type yes in the chat box if you can see me, if you can hear me well. Okay, now that I see that you guys can see me, that you guys can hear me. So a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I am obliged and honored right now to be here, to be presenting to you Mr. Joseph Thomas. Dr. Joseph Thomas, can you please join us to this virtual book launch event of your books, Con Man in Chief and India, the Next Superpower? Dr. Joseph Thomas.
Hi, Shivali.
Hello, how are you, sir?
Yeah, very good. What about you?
Doing great, and extremely excited to see you. And finally, we are here. We are here to talk about our wonderful books, and I am extremely happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, same here. And by the way, you're looking great, Shivali.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And I see that a lot of people are now pouring in, and okay, so Joseph, let's get started with this session. So I am sure that a lot of people here would love to know about you, would love to hear more from you. And please tell my audience something about yourself.
Okay, great. Welcome everyone. So thank you for everyone who joined the session, and thank you who's going to join in a couple of minutes. My name is Dr. Joseph Thomas. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD. Because the last one of my book sessions, somebody asked me in the comments, can you recommend a migraine tablet? So just to, I don't disappoint you guys. So just to set the expectations right. Yeah, I'm a army guy. Started long back, so it's mostly around 30 plus years of my journey. So it's too much to talk about, right? It's a long story. So what I do is usually I just put it in a simple line that you can to better know me. Is I'm a soldier by choice because army was my first love, and I'm a corporate leader, social entrepreneur, educationist, investor, and I can say I'm an author by accident. Maybe I can explain why I'm an author by accident, maybe going forward. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds great to start right now. But before that, so talking about your journey, and what is this accidental author? What do you mean by an accidental author?
Okay, thank you. Okay. So what happened? So I used to write articles in magazines like India Education Today, and School News, Asia One. So there are a lot of educational magazines. I used to write articles, but especially on education, new education policy, or that sector. Okay, so then what happened? Then pandemic happened. So there's a lot of reason to be not happy because you're stuck at home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I thought maybe let me write an article on my favorite topic, because I always believe that, and I am very sure that India is for me, it's a superpower, because and I served the army, so I know that's what we're talking. So I wrote an article in India Today, and I think Navbharat Times, and Dainik Bhaskar, and some of those leading newspaper. And for my surprise, and in fact, I put a the same title, India, the Next Superpower, and the 5 recommendations how to make India the next superpower. And the feedback, and it's just amazing feedback. I never thought people are connected so much with my recommendations and reality. And that's a kind of this book born out of that article what I wrote. And I'm happy that I used the pandemic time and because I want to be write something, but I never thought this is going to be a full time author kind of journey. Then I thought, okay, let me put this into a real book, and that's how it started. And so I took almost 3 months to manage, write, and maybe next 2 months to finish everything. And first December was my birthday, and I released published book on last year. And amazing, it's a in a short span of time, maybe 2 or 3 days, this book was number one in 8 out of 10 categories. Look, I'm a debutant author, right? I'm not a big an author or something, right? For me, this is the day, right? This is it, and I'm so happy that, I think, okay, that's something good. People liked it, and that's how this journey started.
So, how has the journey been so far for you?
Fantastic. So far so good. Very very I can say fulfilling, very satisfying. The same time, I know as an author it's a responsibility, and so and the same time I can see my readers base and the fan base increase over the period of last 1 year. You can see I'm approximately around 10,000 followers in LinkedIn, 5,000 in Facebook, and 50,000 in Instagram. So, and that's for me, it's a kind of okay. So something I'm doing.
No, absolutely. Because I have gone through your books, and those books are amazing. And I'm sure that a lot of people would be very intrigued right now in this session to know more about the books. So, talking about your books, I really want you to tell us more about the first book with Adyan Books right now, which is Conman in Chief. So, the title itself, okay, like Conman in Chief of Capital Coup. So the day, I still remember the day when I heard of it, I was very excited, but in a dilemma that what does this mean? Like, what does the title mean? What does the title mean to us?
Okay, that's good. I think a lot of people ask this question. I think I'm happy these people asking this question. And this is the book I'm talking, right? So this is Conman in Chief of Capital Coup. To be honest, this is a kind of, you can say, a little bit of witty satire, a little
Yeah.
sarcasm, put this character into a perspective. So, in usually the president of a country is also called the supreme commander or commander in chief, and so obviously he is by default as a president of United States is a commander in chief. But by virtue of is all this controversies and kind of crazy stuff he's doing, so I thought maybe it's a good to put into a category of conman, because I, for many reasons, I find him like kind of a con artist. And conman is nothing. It's just, I think you have enough conman in every country, right? In our country as well. And conman is the one who comes with some agenda. Okay, so he comes with an agenda of his personal gain, not for anybody, help somebody. And he comes and put some narratives. He put some storytelling. He put something which people want to hear, and trap people into this kind of his ideas and sign up for that one. And slowly and steadily, once you have this base, then he puts his real agenda. Okay, that's, you want to run for the presidency, and finally, I think the guy with a dubious distinction made it to the top. And so it's, for me, it's a conman in chief. And maybe you can talk about what is capital coup, and that's what happened on Jan 6, 2021.
The world is aware of it, I'm sure, because that is something that came up as a surprise.
Yeah.
Because, of course, talking about it more, so before we move forward, like the book is entirely about US. So how did you develop your interest in the US politics, specifically Trump?
Okay, that's an interest. Yeah, I know that's lot of people ask this question on, what is your interest in US politics?
Because we were assuming, so before we knew more about you, we thought that you are US based or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So one is, I can tell you that because I'm generally interested in politics, in geopolitics. More than that, maybe I'm a soldier. I'm more for a democratic process, right? So I think that's one of my reason behind this one. And at the same time, one today we are living in a global world. It's not what happens in US or what happens in some corner. It's not an isolated incident anymore. I
Yeah.
think just an example. Look, Taliban Afghanistan is such a small country, right? It's a very small country, and Taliban took over. Look at the world today. Everyone, right? You open the media, you open anything. All the discussions are about Taliban. If we have nothing to do with Taliban per se, but why people are so bothered, right? And to just put this into perspective of US. US is a big brother, right? They are superpower from last 78 years. And what happens in US got a direct impact on all over the world, not just in India, all over the world. And particularly because I'm currently an IT company, so I understand the importance of US politics and impact on India. Because, for example, and when he took over the office, and he promised all these people, okay, I'm going to ban the job, I'm going to ban blah blah blah. So he stopped a lot of job going to outside the US, and so there's a direct impact on India on that one, because we work for an IT company. Even our company, we realized, so there's no more expansion, no more growth or status quo, because the one reason he said, a lot of presidents, when they come, they do this political talk, because they have to do that, right? Politicians have to do this because that's what matters to them. That's what people want to hear. But this guy even went an extent of going one more step and say, if any companies in US outsource to India, we are going to put a penalty or some extra taxation on you guys. So they're forcing them to not outsource, and there's a direct impact on India. So my point is whatever happens in the US, it's on implications on everywhere, and you know that one. And India had a lot of impact because of its lot of policies, right? And we are part of that one. So that is my one of the reason important for me to just to give the perspective. But what you hear today in the media is not 100% true, because there is always a one-sided story, right? I want to give the real perspective, the real background, and how it impacts India as a country and the world as a whole. And that's what I tried to put together in this book for people to understand. In a nutshell, I can say, if you bother about your country and the democratic process, this is the book for you. You know what I'm talking.
So I have a lot of people in the audience right now. So what should be that one pointer that you think that people would take up your book for?
Okay, so number one point I can say, and it's important for even India as well. So one is, politicians of the world are the same. Okay, so irrespective of India or US, or and the politicians are the same breed of people. They have a different DNA altogether.
Yeah.
And so for us as individuals, as the people and I think you really care about the country, the one important thing is you have to use your brain. Don't be blind with somebody comes and tell you some stories. Use your brain.
Yeah.
And you need not be an educated person to use your brain. I think even a commoner, even a laborer, everyone, God is blessed and with the basic common sense. Everyone, they know right and wrong. That's all you care about. They know right and wrong.
Yeah.
So parties lines are different. Every party, there's a good and bad in every party. India, in US, and India is not it's a bipartisan system, right? US is generally it's a Republican and Democrats. India, we have so many national, regional, state, and I think all kinds of politics. So one thing my take for all the youngsters, especially always my book and my audience is always youngsters, because the one reason, whether you like it or not, I'm a big believer in this young generation, because they are the future generation, future leaders of this country. So I want them to take the responsibility seriously and use your brain. And because all you have is the power to vote and elect someone, that's the biggest responsibility. And make sure you use the right. Don't go blind with somebody. Okay, he's a good. He talks better. He's a nice storyteller, and
Yeah.
he promises a lot. I think all I think care about is what is that it matters to you as an individual, as a family, as a thing. The same time, as youngsters, responsible to make sure the democratic institutions do their job, in respect of who comes on power, who is not. The democratic institutions has to do that, and that is a one thing, the takeaway from the US, what happened on Capitol coup.
Yeah.
And so all the democratic institutions, and I'm really salute these people. Now, even the chief of staff of the United States came out in public and said, I signed up with the Constitution. I took oath in the Constitution. I'm going to protect this country and the people. I'm not going to get carried away with the whims and fancies of this guy. You
Yeah.
need a guts to do that, or you need a guts to say the statement. This is the takeaway, that it's important to have your institutions are empowered. They do the job. Doesn't matter who is the leader, people come and go, but institutions are going to stay.
So what I hear from you and what I have gone through the book is that this book is for every age, for the person from every age group, right? It is for the youth. It is gonna affect the commoners, everyone right there, right? So people who are present here, I have put the book link right in the chat box. You can go and purchase the book because this book is going to affect your life if you are in love with your country. So moving ahead, Joseph, because you've been talking a lot about leadership now, so why do you think that Trump has failed as a leader?
This is my favorite topic all the time, because leadership, right? So again, I think, thanks to my service in the army, this is the one lessons you learn and put into your blood and your, and your in the body, that leadership is the key. And it's not about you as an individual, and it's nothing called I, me, and myself.
Yeah.
It's all about the team. And this is always, you can see about the leadership, there's a management, the two different factors for me. And when I talk about leadership, for me, always leaders lead from the front. Okay, that's the period. There is absolutely no questions on leaders lead from the front, and that's number one criteria for a leader. Okay, so let me put this into now why I feel is a failed leader. So I just want to give an example. I give it two examples to
Yeah.
because, and I know it's my responsibility when I talk something, I have a substantiate,
Yes.
examples and data I'm talking, because have nothing against this guy, right? So it's absolutely my way of putting together. I don't want to be judgmental. I want my readers to read and make your own judgment.
Mhm.
So let me give an example of Mahatma Gandhi, right? Or Nelson Mandela,
Yeah.
or Martin Luther King. These are
Mhm.
all the great leaders of our time, or in the last century.
Yes.
And the one thing people remember them, I think, in the thing is, Mahatma Gandhi didn't have any designation. He didn't have a three-piece suit. And he is the most simplest ever person who walked on this earth. That's it,
Yes.
right? All he had is one stick and one chashma.
Mhm.
And when he stand on the line, I remember Amitabh Bachchan's dialogue, right? Where I stand, the line starts from there. And he's say, okay, salt, protest against the salt, or protest against the foreign goods, right? People come and join him.
Yeah.
People come and with him,
Yeah.
and no shouting, no lies, no gundaism, no riots, no attacking, nothing. It's so simple and a non-violence. And somebody told he achieved everything with a non-violence. Same thing with Mandela, right? All he was fighting against the discrimination against black and white,
Yeah.
and he stood for that one knowingly, and he went to jail for 30 years, right? And that's leadership, because he had all the reason to be, protect himself, because he's a leader. No, even for the jail, he fought for the cause. His spirit, they are not able to suppress his spirit of the freedom what he's fighting for. Martin Luther King, great an example of, as a U.S. Civil liberties leader, and in fact he was assassinated finally, because he stood for the reason, he stood for the cause, and he sacrificed his life for the country.
Yeah.
This is for me is a leadership, because absolutely nothing, plain talk. There's a vision, there's a reason, and he has encouraged people to join, because and that's where he want to take the nation to the next level. Now let's come to our favorite Mr. Trump. On 6th of Jan 2021, he called all the supporters and say, okay, you just everyone, so let's assemble in the Pennsylvania Avenue. So it's in Washington, where is the Capitol Hill or a White House. All this is called a, Pennsylvania Avenue. He told, okay, come on, let's just assemble everyone. And his followers and all over the his country, they're all assembled, because leader called for them to assemble. That is the disciples. And he said, okay, elections are rigged, everything is fraud. I think it's a little different. It's a kind of a different, because we heard opposition parties are crying that, okay, and elections are rigged. Here, the president himself, who is in power in the last 4 years, he is telling, no, 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 elections are rigged, and this has happened, blah, blah, blah. And he told, okay, let's fight for this one. Let's fight, and let's go and attack the Capitol Hill. And today they're going to declare the next election results. We're going to stop it. And he want to be in office. And all right, it's a mad crowd. They joined, thousands of, I think more than 100,000 people. And I'm sure in my book, you will find those pictures on what happened in the Pennsylvania, or what happened in the Capitol, what happened in the White House. And everyone started marching towards the Capitol. And this is where the leader comes. This leader disappeared from the scene. He went to White House. He's putting in his television and watching what's happening. This is where I felt he's not a leader. He's a coward. Leaders don't disappear. Leaders don't run from their responsibility. Leaders should stand for these people, and whatever happens. And I will go an extent and saying, as an army guy, leaders should ready to take the bullet on your chest, not on your back, on your chest. And let me give another example. If you see any of the war, maybe Kargil or maybe Galwan Valley, whatever happened, right? Yeah. Lot of, most of our young officers die during this period. Why? Because they are leading from the front. That is the ethos of army. That is the culture of army. The leaders lead from the front, and the people join him. They can have an option of sitting in the bunkers and say, "Chalo, ab chalo, main aa raha hu piche se." No, we don't do that one. That's the leadership. And this is why I'm telling you, he's a failed leader. He's the one reason for the capital coup, and he should be prosecuted, impeached. I think he escaped from impeachment. He should be trialed under sedition, and he should be banned for life from fighting any more elections. He's a failed leader. He's a coward.
So impeach and repeat.
That's why my subtitle is impeach. Yeah. Because impeachment is, if you are impeached, he's the first person in the history of 245 years of US history that impeached twice for wrong reasons. First for another reason, second one for this reason. But politics is politics. You need numbers to impeach him. But he escaped. Yeah. But if what happened, impeachment for just to give a perspective of people, once you're impeached, you cannot occupy any office in the country. You can't fight elections. You can't be in any office. So you're done for the life. And so he escaped, but I'm very sure that there are so much of more than 3,000 criminal cases against him, and he'll be busy with fighting this case. He'll not be there.
Okay, that's great. But the book has come out really, really well, and I am actually very excited and very glad and rather honored, on behalf of the entire team of Adyan Books, that we got to work with such a beautiful book. And I'm sure that the people who are also listening to us would love to congratulate Dr. Joseph Thomas, and I'm sure that you would love to put that also in the chat box, that congratulations, Dr. Joseph Thomas, and I would love to take your names. Moving ahead, okay, so Joseph, is this book by any means going to help today's youth? Because I am sure that a lot of people, especially in today's younger generation, they have actually sidelined politics in their thoughts somewhere, because politics, especially in India, has gone a bit more negative. So what do you think? Like, is this book gonna put some light towards good politics?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question, Subali, and I'm sure you happy that you asked this question, because I told you before, and I'm 100% believer in the young generation of this country.
Yeah.
And because at least for me, they are going to bring a new perspective to the politics, what's happening today. And at the same time, and also know that politics is painted as the corrupt criminals, all for the wrong reasons, and for irrespective of party line, everyone, right? And if you know recent Supreme Court verdict, there are more than 2,500 MLAs and MPs got criminal case against them. Okay, and Supreme Court want to pass a resolution of banning these people from fighting elections, The fun is no party want to tie the bell because every party they have enough number of these people, and because of that reason, the youngsters feel politics is a dirty thing. So for me, and I feel if everyone thinks is a dirty place, if everyone thinks that's not my job or somebody else will take care, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Now, it's always unless it's eating you or hurting you, you feel it's somebody else's problem. But in technical, it's your problem. It's our problem, and that's what now if I want to recall this famous quote that if you want to see the change, be the change.
Yeah.
Right. So there is no point of complaining, no point of crying. Be part of the system, and you are coming with a new perspective. You are coming with a clean mindset because and you guys are going to make a difference. I highly encourage everyone to part of this because everyone cannot be politicians. But you have a responsibility. You can be part of the system indirectly, directly, but make sure your voice are heard. Okay, nobody can suppress your voice, and stand for the right cause.
Yeah.
And that's very important, and voice your opinion and ask questions. And I'm one thing again, I'm telling you, and I like these people because we run schools and I interact with all our children. The today's children ask a lot of questions, and that's a fantastic thing. Asking question itself is a skill. Ask questions. It doesn't matter who you're asking, the leader, because all these leaders, whoever come across like a celebrities or a kind of a big power masters, and in a real term, in a constitutional term, they're not masters. For me, they are a servant of the public because you elected them to take care of your welfare, and you also have a right to elect, same time right to reject. You have power, and that's the most beautiful power the constitution has given all of you. And that's the beauty of India, and in any part of the world, the democratic country, the way the constitutions are there. We are not China, right? I think China, you can't raise your opinion, I think, because and there's no freedom of speech. You can't even say anything.
Yeah.
So forget about individual, they are youngsters. The biggest businessmen like Jack Ma or Didi Cowdy, those companies, they're all billionaire empire, because just because of one small statement Jack Ma made against the government, he just said with so much bureaucracy, doing business in China is difficult. It's a simple statement.
Yeah.
And guess what? Today, nobody knows where is Jack Ma. And we are not that banana republic, right? This is India is a beautiful country. It's a everything runs according to the constitution. You will see some changes, some difference, but you trust the constitution because that's a bible. The constitution is everything for us, and you have to trust the constitution and stand for it, and it's a responsibility to fight and protect this one. And I highly encourage everyone to be part of the system so that we can make better tomorrow for the next generation.
Mhm. I believe that the book is absolute worth buying. And again, to remind everyone who's present here that the link is right in the chat box. You can go purchase it right on from Amazon. So just to read a few congrats that are flowing in the chat box. So the first one is coming from Mr. Nitin Soni himself. He says that you are an inspiration, and sharing your knowledge through your books is such an amazing service to the world. So congratulations, Dr. Joseph.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you so much.
Congratulations is coming from Yogesh, Mr. Dinesh Patel, uh, Dr. Praveen, Abhip Menon. Jayashri says, congratulations, Dr. Joseph. And Meera and Indira Prasad says that congratulations for the book, Mr. Joseph Thomas. Uh, Bishnu says that congratulations, Dr. Joseph, for the book and insights on the leadership. And a lot more. Mamta, Vidya, Krishna, Indira Prasad says that expect some more of such thought-provoking, truth-revealing books from Joseph.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
thank you guys. Thank you so much. It means a lot for me.
And I am sure that a lot of people who are present here would have some or the other questions for Dr. Joseph. So you can put those questions right in the chat box and I would read them and you would get all of them answered right away. So moving ahead from now, from Capital Coup to the first book of yours, which is India's Next Superpower. So before we start, I would love to share some pictures of the book, and I would love people to see the book as well. So just give me a second, and I would love to share my screen. Okay, there you go. So this has come out to become a very beautiful book cover, and I actually congratulate you once again, because okay, so to inform the history of this book to all the people who are present here, that this book has been relaunched and it will very soon be on Amazon, but it is already there on Amazon with this cover. uh,
Yeah,
this too was an Amazon bestseller, am I right?
that's right. Yeah, both my books are Amazon bestseller.
Yes, but this one I still remember. This became the Amazon bestseller within 12 hours,
Yeah, that's right.
and actually my team, the entire team jumped out of their seats, because we were actually too connected with this book, because this book came to us during the pandemic, and that was the time when we were actually all connected over calls and Zoom calls. So this book had been all around, and we the most stalked book. And also, Joseph, to inform you, you are the most loved author in Adyan books as well. So okay, so talking about this book right now, so this happens to be your very first book, right?
That's right.
And we are wanting to relaunch this book once again with this beautiful book cover: India, the Next Superpower, Tame the Dragon and Unleash the Tiger. So what does the title and the subtitle mean? So please let us know more about it.
Okay, so one is thank you, Shubali and Adyan team, Nitin Soni especially, for such a beautiful cover, because because this is very close to my heart,
Yeah.
because it's my first book. And one is I want, when we talk about India, so for
Yeah.
all of us, right? So for Indians, the Indian flag is the highest and the biggest for everyone, because we
Yeah.
are not a country where we use, or there's a protocol how to handle the
Yes.
Indian flag. And so we try to put Indian flag color, because just to resonate with India as a country. And people get very excited, motivated, and recharged when you see the Indian flag, because if you go to US and if you stand in front of United Nations building, you will see the flag of almost 200 countries, every 200 countries in one line. I don't know, for some reason, out of 200 countries flag, I only spotted my Indian flag, only Indian flag, because that is what the flag meant for Indians, for us. And little extra for a soldier, because I tell you why, because only the soldiers, only if you're in service, even in your service or retired, we are privileged to honor to get the Indian flag wrapped on your coffin before the funeral, because there is no highest respect anybody can expect and think of, right? What a soldier gets. So for us, Indian flag is everything. So I thought maybe just as a beautiful way to put my book and connect Indian flag color. So you see all the color in the book, and that's thing. So India, the next superpower, as I mentioned, it is not just a statement, because I strongly believe India is going to be the next emerging superpower and superpower one day. And I feel from a competitions, from a historical perspective, US is kind of a superpower for a very long time. And so the next world is going to be in Asia. In Asia, I feel China and India is going to be the next big player in the market in for everything, because number one is we both together is kind of a 2.7 billion population. In terms of, this is one third of the population is here in Asia. And when I say tame the dragon, dragon is, the Chinese thing, right? So and so initially, when my first book, when I was writing on the subtitle, so I don't know if by default it came as a kill the dragon. So right, so and my son and wife told, no, you don't think as a soldier all the time. So I know what's the fun of killing the dragon. So my son told, okay, tame the dragon. So it's a good way to tame the dragon. So you make him control. So instead of killing him, the fun is over. You should be able to control him, like there's
Overpower.
yeah, overpower, like Bandariya story, right? It will jump as per this thing. And so you unleash the tiger, and tiger is our national symbol. And so I want the tiger to roar and control and tame this dragon. And our India is going to be the superpower in the days to come. And so, and that's the background of this title subtitle.
Okay, so I am sure that now that we're talking more about nationalism and our country love, I am sure that a lot of people present here would have a lot of questions to ask him. So, why don't you all put down your questions in the chat box, and I would love to address them. So, one of the questions that I would like to ask is coming from Abhip Menon. Would the Quad and now the newly formed AUKUS, I do not know how to pronounce that. So, defense pact counter China.
That's a great question, Mr. Manan. So because in one of my chapter, so you will you're going to see about the, I mentioned about the Quad. So it's a basically US and Australia, Japan, and India partners. And Quad is very, very strong on Southeast in China. So if you just put your world map in front of you, and you see how the current logistics works. And I don't know, for some reason, China is highly and fully dependent on the gas and the fuel supply from the Gulf countries. And
Mhm.
entire thing comes today from Southeast China towards the China, because there's one small triangle where this pass through, all this cargo will come through. And that is where I feel that's a game on. And the Quad can control this, block China from getting the supply from the Gulf. So, and if you go back to the north of China, the one road, one belt initiative, what is trying from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Gilgit towards Iran, China understand this one. China understand my game is over if they're going to block me in the Southeast Asia, China. So they're building this road so that they can get those supplies from Iran towards China. And
Mhm.
so what happened? Currently, it takes 40 days from China to Gulf countries to get this logistics from there. And so this belt, one initiative will change this from, let's say, from a 10 days. But at the same time, you have to understand, so why China is so interested and jumping and to help the Afghanistan, because that road goes through Afghanistan. They need this Taliban, they need this rogue element support. There's only one caveat in the whole process: Gilgit, Baltistan in Pakistan, and they're not in favor of this one. And there's always a bottleneck. I think, yeah, if you're able to. So to cut this long story short, this is a great opportunity for us to play on this one. And because in terms of numbers, in terms of thing, China is always, it's a little bit of aggressive statement, but understand that the barking dog seldom bites. And I think he's good in putting your nose into everything. He plays everything. He goes and give loan to all these countries so that they take so much of loan they're not able to pay back, and they started controlling them. So today, you'd agree or not, right? Pakistan is nothing but a province of China, and Afghan is going to soon join that bandwagon. Look at what happened in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, the entire port is leased for 99 years. And why he's desperately doing this one, they know this Quad can play a role and we can stop him from Southeast China. And
Yeah.
great question. And that's where the game is.
Okay. So, by any means, okay, what are the big exact issues, if a layman wants to understand, what are the basic issues that are happening between China and India?
Okay, so look, I think if you go back to I think centuries of relationship, India and China always had a great relationship. I'm
Yeah.
talking about centuries, not now, right? But as always, so what's happening between India and Pakistan, thanks to the British partition, right? And this is the British are known for this one. When they leave, they just plant something shit out of there so that they are always into fighting mode. And so, just to understand the people's perspective, till the British intervention, and there was no border dispute between China and India.
Yeah.
And then you remember this great McMahon line, which British do between these countries, and there was no scientific way of putting this thing. They no, so the Colonel McMahon joined from this side. They said, okay, they stood on the line. Okay, this is India, this is China, this is Pakistan. They just said on a vague thing, without realizing the references.
Mhm.
And so, actually, there is no defined actual line of control between our countries. Even now, both countries working on assumption. India thinks this is my territory. China thinks this is my place. And that is why line of, so there's a two element names, line of actual control, LAC, and line of control. And the
Oh,
two different things. Line of control is the real thing. Line of actual control is assumption. Like, what happened in Galvan Valley, and this Galvan Valley, for people in the general public to understand, if you watch the movie The Three Idiots, there's you see that last Amir Khan lands in this Pangyong Lake, and
yeah.
Kareena Kapoor comes and all this romance, and this Ladakhi guy comes and the inventor, right? So this Pangyong Lake, just across the Pangyong Lake, there are we call finger 1 to finger 8. Okay,
Yeah.
so the close to finger 4 is what the Galvan Valley, and so I personally there's a place called Daulat Beg Oldie, that so where because when I was in Kargil, that was one of the place I that was on project to install the satellite communications there. I know exactly this point.
Yeah.
And we used to patrol on this finger, and because and for India's think, okay, this is my place, and they think that's their place. And finally, when they and China is known for all this, right? So China's got a I let me summarize this whole thing into in a small one. Is we had a problem with in Ladakh, because on the same LAC issues. In northeast Sikkim, we have issues with the China. In Arunachal Pradesh, it used to call as NEFA before, Northeast Frontier. China believes, even China today believes Arunachal is part of China. Okay, so these are the three border disputes, many, right? Main border dispute between India and China. And Dalai Lama is kind of, one more kebab in the haddi for them. So because we are accepted him, we are provided asylum to them, so they are here from last 50 plus years. And so when things come to Dalai Lama, China, they're always touchy about this one. So these are the issues between India and China. And so this, but the one thing you have to understand. So the last war between, I think everyone remembers 1962 war, where India lost badly, and thanks to our political leaders and equally our military leaders. I blame both of them, not just the politicians. And there's a reason for that one. But at the same time, I want to highlight people that most of the people don't know that there was a war between India and China in 1967. Everyone thinks 1962 is the last war.
Yeah.
That was an official war fought between India and China, where India lost, but we gave a bloody nose to China in 1967 in Sikkim, and China has to run for their life. And I'm telling, because this is what the problem with the history. I think for some reason we don't. We talk about all the negatives what happened, but we don't celebrate our victory as well. To 100% credit to the army took a decision on 1967, and that's the last war between India and China. So even so, that means 1967. So we are talking about 55 years. China did whatever they want, but there's no war between India and China afterwards. That's the last one. They got the taste of Indian army that time. And Galvan Valley is not a war for me. It's actually it's a cowardice act. You are attacking the Indian army who's going without arms, and they're going for a discussion. So then you send your people with a spike, use and all kinds of things, and to fight with them, because you are not able to fight with India like a man to man. And so Galvan is a very sad state of affairs. But I think at the same time, this is this is the main factor between India and China, and that's what China is actually insecure about India's growth. That's the bottom line.
So I'm sure that this book too is gonna emerge in you within a lot of nationalism and a lot of love for your country. I'm sure, but because um, so many pointers that are coming out from this book, and I am sure that a lot of people are gonna purchase this book and are gonna love. Uh, they are actually going to love the book, because even I have gone through the book, and I was sharing a lot of chapters to the friends, and even they were quite serious about it, because there are so many factors that are supposed to be talked, and we're talking very less about it.
That's it.
So talking more about your book. So what if, Joseph, what if there is this war that happens between India and China? So do you, by any chance, do you think that we would be able to win that, or maybe overcome, or overpower, tame the dragon?
What a question to a soldier, right? So, no, no, I think again, no, it's a great question because and because I love to answer because these things are very close to any soldier for that matter.
Yes.
And I think, as I mentioned before, no war between India and China in the last 50 years, except proxy war. I call proxy war as only the cowards will do proxy war, right? And I think, if you're a soldier, it's always, you come in the front. I think that's a war. What you do at the back, I think we don't even we don't care about that one. So, though I'm a soldier, for all the reasons, and I am not for the war. Okay, touch it. I don't want to see the war because I am part of India's peace keeping mission in Sri Lanka. So I know what is now real time, and I spent 3 years in Kargil, and I lost so many of my friends in the same time because we are talking in the morning and the evening. We are packing my friend's body and sending back to another thing, right? So it's very easy to now talk all this, but it's a very very painful thing. Even after 22 years, every incident is a very fresh in my mind. So I know what it's take to be a thing. And another thing is history also very clear on that one. So there's no clear winner in any war. Absolutely no. Both the side will be a loser in real term. But yeah, somebody can claim so India won, China won, but in real term, there's a loss of life, there's a loss of economy, there's a loss of destruction. Just imagine if we lose one soldier, that impacts on entire family. The family is not just one person, right? Because it's actually a cascading effect on entire thing. So I'm not for war, all right? So, and I'm absolutely clear on that one. And because I'm also a UN peace ambassador, so I'm totally for peace, for sure. But at the same time, to answer your question, yeah, if is a big question, and let me put it into perspective. A lot of people in India, okay, and even some of my friends also tells me, Indian Army in India, we don't have this one. Our MiG crashed, and that happened. Now look at China. So there's a lot of people who are big fan of China. One reason these people are too much into TikTok or these armored games, this kind of game, and they think the Chinese kind of it's a TikTok. The real war is not a TikTok game; it's a real war. And maybe also they may be listening to a lot of this 9 o'clock noisy channels all the time. What are you going to see? India and China, India and Pakistan, right? There's no other topic to discuss at 9 o'clock. It's all this, idiot channels are, putting all this propaganda, sitting in Delhi or Mumbai, and they're creating a war room and say, okay, India, okay, how, kaise ladenge, kaise karenge? Damn, you go to Kargil, go to Siachen, stay one day, then you talk about, kaise ladenge. You have no idea what is to be in a minus 40-degree temperature in Siachen. Sitting in Mumbai, you can talk nonsense, but that's not the reality. When you're in a bunker, when you're facing the enemy, when you're eye to eye with the enemy and facing the bullet, that's where you know what is war and what is the thing. So this is not real. And I also would tell you, if you during Galvan Valley, I'm sure if you're watching those channels, these channels are sitting in Leh. There's a Dragon Hotel in Leh, and so if you go on the terrace, what you see is this all these mountains, right? It's the same mountain. You just from Kargil, the same mountain you can see in all over the place. Same, there's no
Yeah.
vegetation, no greenery. It's just a rocky mountains. And this reporting, okay, we are reporting on ground zero, and this is Galvan, this is finger four, this is finger four. You know, from Leh to Galvan Valley, this, what is the distance? It's a 175-kilometer distance. 175 kilometer. It's not next door. It's not Mumbai to what do you call Thane. It's 175, and it takes almost a day, more than a day to reach that place. And during this time, nobody was. It's out of bond. Nobody was allowed to be there in the ground zero. So that's the reality. But how many people understand this fake people, fake news media, sitting in Leh and telling, "Oh, this is Galvan Valley," and be careful about these people. I think you should stop watching them because they are the one who's putting this real war between India and China. Yeah. So come to the real numbers, right? So Indian Army is kind of a 1.4, 1.5 million people. Chinese Army is around 2 million people. But India got 2 million reserve forces, whereas China got 5.5 million. So in terms of number, no big deal. So then let's come to the big number, okay, about now, their capabilities on the fighters and armaments and the missiles and everything. I'm sure all of you heard about Agni 5 missiles.
Yeah.
It's a intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBR missiles. This is one of the world's longest range missiles. India officially say it's a 5,000-kilometer range, and China on their global news propaganda said, okay, India is underplaying. This is 10,000-kilometer range. It's true. So if you can reach 5,000, 6,000-kilometer range, what are we talking about, right? I don't tell it. You can cross even US. Forget about China, right? The other factor is if you've been any time to this place in a Siachen or this, India is in a geographical advantage between India in China and India. Our air force can take off and directly go hit China and come back, but that is not the case with China because China's dependency. There's a bottleneck of this Tibet, so they cannot take off from there because Tibet is always a question mark for them. And they don't have a direct landing and takeoff points. So by the time they do a thing, we can even reach, hit, and come back. All right. And another fun part and the thing, all our equipments, all our fighters, everything, either we have made in India or made in USA, UK, Germany, Israel, no, Japan. All our defense equipments are from we bought from this country. Maybe even a technology, everything from this country. Why I'm specifically talking about these countries? Because every country got a very stringent quality norms to pass every test before deployment. All right, so they do a field trial, they do a high altitude trial, they want to make sure minus 50-degree temperature, this technology works, all the trials. And when we get them, because I was part of those trials, and I know that everything we go to desert and test, we go to high altitude snow, Siachen and test, we do all the testing. Then based on the recommendations, we get the things. It takes its own time, and but we know what we're buying. Now let's come to China. China claims they have supersonic missiles, they have a fighter and everything. Guess what? Nobody knows what is the technology because there is no quality standard. Why? China is always quantity over quality. Mass, okay, mass production, I can millions production, I can generate millions, everything is for them a quantity. And I'm sure Diwali is coming, and we are all famous for buying Chinese cracker. Two things happen in Chinese crackers, right? It's a binary, 0 or 1. It works, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And what happens then? You throw them, right? It's use and throw.
Yeah.
And so nobody knows how it works, how it impact on the real term, because there's no testing. There is no bar with China or any country where they can say, okay, this fighter was used and is deployed. When you talk about any of our thing, Rafael, we know it was used in Syria, it used in Iraq, it's used in all these places. There's enough data to prove this is very effective. Can China claim any evidence of this was used and is a fantastic? No. So the bottom line is they never fought a war for the last 50 years. That
Mhm.
means people who joined the Chinese army, they retire without firing a bullet. Look at that. That's not the case with Indian Army. We are always in a war, internal or external, internal enemies or external enemies. We are insurgency, we are Naxalite, we are Kargil, and there's so many things. We are all part of this thing, so we are all went through enough. So I feel let's not give too much importance to Chinese or supremacy and all this talk. Indian Army, our Jawan, don't hesitate to sacrifice a life and the things comes to our motherland. There's absolutely no second thought. And every other war proved that the war cry once is done, it's done, because hijat of the unit is what matters to us. Nothing else matters. Can you say this to the China? No. All they do is good in doing drill, maybe having good noodles and enjoying free pension, and that's it. So don't worry too much about them. You have to trust army, our people. There's enough evidence to show that. So one thing I'm going to tell you, Indian army will at any cost fight for the integrity and sovereignty of India, what we come. Doesn't matter if it's China or anybody for that matter. So it's
I
always India.
Yeah, I am sure that a lot of people just like me are having goosebumps right now, because I think that this sense of nationalism, especially in India, has emerged so much within time. And I am sure that a lot of people, as soon as whenever we start talking about our country, army, all of us have that in us, and it is very common in all the Indian people, I'm sure, because this sense of nationalism is present in each and every one of them. And I'm sure uh, that other than 15th August and 26th Jan, I
Yeah, that's
think that this is more than that. This is
absolutely.
absolutely more than that. So before that, I would also like to salute you. And I all of us aware are very much aware that we are able to sleep because you guys are there in the front.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
thank
100%.
you very much. Thank you very much. Other than that, because you were talking a lot of things about the news channels, etc. So what they show is not the truth, which I can sense from you speaking,
Absolutely.
because whatever they say or whatever they portray is not the way it is actually happening out there. Am
Yeah,
I right?
that's right. So they are showing what sells, what brings the TRP,
Yeah,
what brings the sponsorship, and not the reality. And so I just take 30 seconds to explain why.
yeah,
Because and you all these 9 o'clock channels, you repeat to see this India China always war, and everybody is in the news channel talking about ban China, burn China, Chinese, and they're going to burn the small Chinese 2,000 rupees mobile phones and all this kind of thing. And when there's a commercial break comes, right, on the same
yeah.
channel, who is the sponsor? Vivo phone,
Vivo, Oppo,
or Oppo, or all these
Redmi, or Xiaomi.
Redmi.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Look, what in other examples you need to look at the
ironic.
hypocrisy. There, just now they said ban everything.
Yeah,
First, go and ban the sponsor. Stop your sponsor first. Then you talk about banning. And don't. This is the double standards of these media houses, and they're just spreading this venom. And just because it sells for them, and that's the reason I'm telling you is absolutely nonsense. Yeah, I respect the channel who's not taking Chinese sponsor, then they show it. I respect them, but not these people showing Chinese sponsor talking about banning China. No, it's all stupid.
I had just seen a question coming from Rui in the chat box that would banning the Chinese products actually work?
That's exactly what I told. Look, these are all gimmicks. All right. So banning something, because we are living in a global world.
Yeah,
So rather banning, you have to understand why. The first question is why we need to get this Chinese products to India. That's the first fundamental question. In my book, I'm talking about how to make India the next superpower. One
yeah,
of the recommendation is what happened last 30 years in China and where we failed. Doesn't matter, we failed. Let's learn from the mistake.
yeah.
Why can't we build the same capacity in India so that we don't need to go and buy the Chinese product? Because you once you get the same options in India,
Yes.
Nobody want to buy Chinese product because it's not available in India. So the
Yeah.
lot of people, they can't buy the fancy phones. They have to buy the small, cheaper phones. Now I'm not against people of buying because there's nothing. So instead of banning, create an opportunity here. Create a phone, 1,000 rupees phone in India so that our people can buy here. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and that's one of the recommendations to. And so the one good thing is pandemic also taught us in a big lesson. So China's whatever the hegemony or the super power, world is not really in favor of China anymore because everyone understand the biggest culprit of pandemic is China. And so people looking up to in Southeast Asia, especially in India, we should take advantage and bring these companies here. We have everything in India because the God has blessed us with so much of natural resources and the talent and everything here. All you need is to put or act together.
Yeah.
Currently, it's all scattered. Put your act together. We can make a difference. We can be the next superpower. You'll not be superpower overnight. You need to build this capacity. What
Absolutely.
China has did 30 years, it took 30 years, not one day. Start now. And that's where I feel we can be the next superpower.
I am sure. I also have one more question coming from Matthew out there that so this social media has a lot of influence on the youth. So also like while we were talking about conman in chief, so social media over there had a negative impact. So how are we supposed to push our youth towards social media? Because social media is very huge out there,
Yeah.
and it is actually the time of social media right now, and everything out there is on social media. It reaches out in a very quick like maybe a beam light, but how are we supposed to differentiate between the good use and the bad use of it?
It's a great question, and again, in one of my book, there's a one full chapter on the misuse of social media
Yes.
and what's happening today. And thank you, who asked this question, Mr. Matthew. Thank you for this. It's a great question because this also very, and I'm very passionate about this topic because I understand the power of social media. You're right. Today we are in a global village. So you click of a button, you get informations. The same time, you also spread informations. And one of the biggest nuisance of social media is the spread of this fake news, or any of informations. And this is the and recent survey was found one of the global survey. They told the entire pandemic, the India generated almost 40% of fake news on the pandemic, and solution for a pandemic. It is out of generated out of India. Starts from you put a lemon, lemon use kar lo, you just name it, right? People came with so much bizarre solutions without even knowing what we're talking, and it
Absolutely.
spread like a wildfire because people use that one. and
Yes.
and and so let me give an because in one of my chapter I talked about social media is misused to the core today because the easiest to use social media is, I want to give two examples, right? So one of the research, and I found that one of the reason, because everyone was surprised and wondering how come the Trump made it to the top, how come this
Yeah.
guy was elected. And the final bottom line was, he are able to exploit the social media to spread his narrative. And uh, and there was a gap of people's expectations that they're looking for an answer, and he understood the gap and he started serving that everything on the platter. And because what people want to hear, he started spreading that on the social media because that was easiest way to communicate. And you will know that Trump is the one guy who was 24/7, 365 days active on social media. So especially on a Twitter and on a Facebook, on Instagram, he got a millions of followers. Whatever he says is kind of a gospel truth, and that is the biggest way he started spreading the news. When each campaign he went, he saw the reactions. I know it's working fantastic. Why it happens and how it happens, I think it's important to understand why social media happens and what is the background. Let me take you to the Facebook acquired this company called WhatsApp, because today you can't live without WhatsApp, right? And when they acquired, they put a price for $19 billion in that time, because everyone said, okay, this Facebook is crazy. Because WhatsApp is a free messaging platform.
Yeah.
There's no advertisement. You're not paying anything. And how come Facebook is buying? There's no revenue. And let me tell you, this Mark Zuckerberg is not, he's a shrewd businessman, and he will not put a dime without seeing a dollars popping out of the box, right? He knows that one. So people didn't understood what is that he's trying to do. All you care about, because there are 2 billion people on a WhatsApp platform, 2 billion. That 2 billion people is an equivalent to $1 trillion worth of data. And today, that data is the gold. It's not a gold, or platinum, silver. No,
Yes.
data is the gold.
Data.
And how are you going to use it? You just now let's come to now Google, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Uber. You just name it. Every other company, right? Every other app, when you download, everything is free. It comes. So you
Yeah.
download, and they ask you 3 questions: name. Happily, I put my name. Okay, your phone number, fantastic. Email, you put happily. And agreed, okay, click. Because nobody can read that 100-page document. Who's going to read? Okay, clicked. You're done for the day. So what happened? With your name, phone number, and email, these people got your past, present, and future. What you're going to talk tomorrow, it's part of this thing. And so that is the data we are talking about. So that means, just put now 2 billion Facebook users, and let's equally 2 billion, 3 billion Facebook, 2 billion WhatsApp, 2 billion Instagram. We are talking about altogether 5 billion people. And what is world's population? 7.7 billion. You got 70% people's data in just one company, Facebook. It's the same company, same guy.
Yeah.
So now let me give an example. So many times people say you search looking for some cloth, you just went and bought some cloth,
Yes.
right? The next day you'll see a lot of this different cloth coming to your on the screen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
look for a watch, you see that one. You booked on a flight tickets, you send 100 flight ticket options.
Yeah.
You should be asking this question: how come this is all coming? This is the data. What happens in the background? There's something called AI. This is artificial intelligence and machine learning. Whatever you type, that means the algorithm will understand this is what this person is looking for. So they're going to start pushing all this relevant messages to on your platform. So even by looking it or by clicking it, even today, even let me go and extend one more time. I'm sure this is a shocker for you that many people don't even understand. Next time when you talk to your phone on the okay, let's you're talking your phone today. Let's say you talked about I'm going to Delhi tomorrow, for example, right? So you will be surprised in next 10 minutes time you're going to get hotel available in Delhi and flights tickets available in Delhi.
Yeah.
Before you're searching and typing. Today you're not searching, you're talking. Just you're talking. That is also now the captured, and they're going to push advertisements for you. That means there is nothing called privacy in this world. Everything is somebody. Let me say, the third eye is watching you. Be it a government, be it agencies, be it anybody. That somebody is watching everything. So far, it was whatever you talk, whatever you search. Now, whatever you're thinking something. You don't be surprised that's going to come tomorrow in your screen. That means this is how the manipulated, this is how this data was manipulated and pushing, and people should be very careful of what you're clicking, what you're searching, and what you're talking, because aapka kundli, it's all out there. There's nothing called privacy anymore. Be socially responsible on the social media. It's a great platform if you use it judiciously, if you use it with responsibility. At the same time, you can screw up your life in a one wrong click.
Yes, I am sure. And I am also sure that a lot of people are there who are also listening to us must be well aware of this concept that you just talked about. So instead of going out there for a wrong reason, just be socially aware, just be socially as much as responsible as you can be. So Joseph, there are of course a lot of questions regarding your journey as an author as well. So I am sure, because we have a lot of people from our authors community, and they're asking for your suggestions, like what are your suggestions for a lot of budding authors, because they are listening to you, and I'm sure they will find a lot of inspiration coming from you as well, as an author, as a two-time best-selling author.
Okay, so look, I don't want to claim to be an expert, or I'm just a newbie, right? Okay, I'm just started. But yeah, I only two books in my credit. But yeah, definitely, I'm nobody to advise, and but I can share my experience.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's at least so that I don't want to talk the big things, right? So I'm purely with my experience. One thing I tell you, so whether you any part of the world today, remember one thing: you have 99 people going to pull you down.
Yes.
They're going to discourage you. They're going to make fun of you. 19 people. There's only one person in your life is going to support you. Only one person. That's not outsider. It's you. It's you. Only you is the reason for what you want to be. If you want to be an author and that brings happiness to you, and nobody can stop you. Let me tell you that much. And so listen to your heart. Don't worry about the 99 people. You listen to your heart and say, okay, I want to be an author. That's it. There's nothing else. So, and what you have to do, and the simple thing, what you do is a very simple formula. Anybody can do it. One is you have to be little committed and disciplined, because with the casual attitude, you can't get there, right? So, and so you have to be disciplined. And all you have to do is, I put my perspective. I'm going to talk about what I'm. So, if you ask me about my future, I'll tell you, because I'm announcing this in advance and purposely, so that I'm responsible.
Yeah.
Because when I commit something, I'm going to announce to the world. I'm
Yeah.
going to announce my personal or in a professional network and say my third book is coming, fourth book is coming. That means I can't relax now. I have to work on that one. So the best way to announce to the world, okay, my book is coming so and so date. Put a date for that one. All you have to do is 1 hour per day. I'm telling you, half day, don't take leave, don't take anything. Everybody in this world got 24 hours. Be Taliban, be Joe Biden, be Joseph for Shivali, 24 hours. Give 1 hour for yourself, 1 hour. And you just say, I'm going to write 1,000 words per day. That's it. Only 1,000 words per day. Okay, don't do anything. Don't think anything big. Whatever comes to your mind, just go with the flow. Put it down. You like to write down. Or if you're good in laptop, just I think there's so many ways to do it. Just your target is to write 1,000 words per day for next 30, 40 days, whatever you want. By the time you realize in one and a half months time, your manuscript is done. And nothing to worry. Then what I have to do is, all you have to do is call Adyan Books, call Nitin Soni or Shivali and say, Shivali, my manuscript is done, ready. I want to publish now. Your responsibility is to complete the manuscript. Adyan Books will take care of all the other things. That's all you have to do. So
I
you
am
commit yourself and your book will publish soon. I want you to be like me and launching my book today. At least I want somebody listening today and come back and say, okay, they took my advice seriously, then advice my experience seriously, and they're able to complete the book.
I
Remember,
would be I
you
would be happy if even if one person, even if one life is affected by this session, and if this session is good enough to inspire at least one person to write down and complete their book. So there's one last question that I would love to take, coming from Indira, who says that who inspired you to write the book?
okay, so in particularly, I can say there are so many people in my life. There's so many women in my life. My wife, my
How
mother,
has the
my
support been from your family, especially?
yeah. So my mother-in-law is a great support, because she is always she's an author, author of 10 books, and she is no more. But I think I'll be happy at least she is there to see my books today, because she is the one inspired me a lot on writing a book or starting a school. She is so full of energy. And my parents are not highly educated, but they're always and always believed in doing something. And my grandfather used to say, okay, best thing you can do is school, educate somebody, and I think you can make a change in their life. And my wife is a biggest supporter, I can say, from anything I do, right? I'm a little crazy. I want to do multiple things. Now I work for company, I run schools, I write thing, I want to invest. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of thing. And so I'm so happy that my wife supports in all my all this crazy stuff. Sometimes I know that I'm not able to give enough time to the family, but they know that one. I'm passionate about something. I go behind it, and I support that one. And all this ecosystem is important. And so, to answer Indira's questions, this ecosystem makes a difference, and that's what I told 99 reasons to not to write. That one reason, that's you to write.
Absolutely. Uh, okay. Just before we close this session, Joseph, um, a lot of congratulations, first of all, are flowing in the chat box, coming from Shivani, Swarupa, Nina, and Pandurang Reddy, Asha. Um, Again, Mr. Dinesh Patel says, you are a superpower author.
Thank you.
Uh, Matthew, coming from Matthew, congratulations, you're a superpower author, and we are proud on your success journey.
Thank you so much.
And Nina says that very true, these channels are crap. And of course, a lot of people are very happy, very excited to see the content of the book, and to remind each and every one of you that the book links to purchase these books from Amazon, the links are right there in the chat box pinned, and these comments and these links would remain in the chat box. So whenever you feel free, please purchase them, write good reviews about them, come back to us, tell us more about it. And other than that, Joseph, so you have achieved 10,000 things in your life. I have read them, I have seen them, I've heard them now. What are you up to now? Like, because you say that you're up to a lot
Yeah.
of things in your life. What is the next thing? What big are you gonna do now?
Well, yeah. So look, again, I'm telling, I'm just started, right? So
Yes.
I say I'm just started. But at the same time, I'm so thankful to my ecosystem, my family, my friends, and everyone over there who is always supportive of anything I do. Because luckily, I don't have that 19 people who are pulling down. I have the 19 people pushing me and say, okay, great. I think Joseph is a great thing, right? As I can, there are thousands of people I can't name. But at the same time, I know that this sort of thing, and helpful in every other motivation. So to answer your question, so my third book, so but now I'm seriously into now. I started now. I don't want to be an accidental author anymore. I want to be a serious thing, because my fan base is growing, my readers base is growing, so I don't want to disappoint them. And I see a lot of people are looking for my next book. So third book is going to be Diwali release, hopefully, at the end books. This is about India's new national education policy, because the national policies, or any policy that matter, is always 1,000 pages, right? It's a huge document, a lot of jargons and blah blah. So common man, it's very difficult to understand what is this policy, right? How much because I run schools, I know that when it's not easy, even for teachers, still difficult to understand what is this policy all about, right? My idea is to make a simple book, to convert this whole thing into a very simple kind of book, and say what is the current system, and what is the new policy all about, how is going to impact you as a student, and as a parent, and the school as a teacher. Very simple book, so that every household, I want this book, so that because you have so much currently, you have only a science, maths, and commerce, right? That's it. Or everyone want to be an engineer and doctors. But and so My book is talking about, there's thousands of options open in front of you,
Yes.
and you're not going to lose anything, even by one wrong move. So that the sky is the limit. So the book is going to give you an answer to what you think is your passion, and go for that one. That's my third book. And my fourth book is going to be maybe a Christmas release. I'm committing again. Adyan books again. So this is about Taliban 2.0, and what is the impact on Taliban in India. Again, my favorite topic. My fifth book is going to be my favorite dragon, which is China.
Ah,
So China, the copycat nation, and so that's going to be the next one. My sixth one maybe is going to be a kind of a myself. I can say my not I'm still a small guy for an autobiography. Something of my journey of 30 years. This is going to call my journey from a war room to a boardroom to a classroom. army to corporate to educationist. So that's my journey 6. And at least I have a framework for 10 books. At least that's my plan. And hopefully with your support and my readers' support, I'm going to at least targeting 10 books for now.
I am sure that a lot of people just like me are going to be extremely excited, but only after you get to read those two books. Because after reading those two books, you're going to realize what are you going to miss out next time. Because I am sure that this national education policy is something that at least I would be reading, because suddenly if I get to read, if I get to study and pursue medical with dance and choreography is something which is going to
Absolutely.
be, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would really, really thank, and I do not know how did this 1+ hour has just it has flown. But I really want to thank all the people who are present here, and of course you, Dr. Joseph. It was a great, great time, and working with you was an honor, was an absolute honor. And from the entire team of Abhyan Books, I would love to thank you for being there. Uh, you've been extremely patient. Working with you was extremely, extremely smooth, and we loved being your publishing partners. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Shivali. So I maybe take a 10 seconds to, because one of the, all my books when I talk about, so I'm not writing book for profit. I'm not going to make money is my not criteria. So the profit of my books goes to a mother of a martyrs. We already have one, you can if you see this one, this is Srimati Jagir Kaur, is in Punjab. So we are actually set up a small pension for her because her son lost his life in Kargil war in our time, and I was got a no Facebook video of she's working in a 80 years old now and a Mandrega laborer today. It's such a shame to see an 80-year-old mother working as a laborer. And so instead of forwarding this WhatsApp video, I thought let me do something. So we were taking care of her now because all we need is because these mothers was the one who sent the sons to the army. You
Yeah.
need a courage to do that one, and at least it's a so great. I know it's so sad to see them working today in 80 years old. All they need a respectful life. You today you buy my book or whenever you book. Remember, you're actually small way you're contributing to this matter of a mother. You're helping that mother to have a decent life. Okay, I'm not asking for any donations or charity. So if you buy a book or you refer book to your friends, that's more than enough. We can take care of her, and we're going to add more people. So yeah, that's one of my I feel to just support this cause, so that these people have a respectful life, whatever the years left over. So thank you so much, Shivali, and the Iron Books entire team. So like you mentioned, so I had a great experience so far, and I'm already committed 3 more books for you guys, and I'm looking forward to that once. Thank you once again for everyone who's joined the call today. I know it's a Saturday, it's a weekend, you have a lot of other personal family commitments. Truly, and I'm honored you joined, asked a lot of questions, and thank you once again. And like a soldier, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Jai Hind.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.